I'm out at the compost and I'm going to turn this compost pile today, and I thought I would take you with me and show you exactly what I'm going to do and how everything is looking. So this compost pile was just recently started. It's only a couple weeks old, and it consists of wood chips and kitchen scraps and cuttings from the garden that are pest and disease free, and also something new that I'm trying, which is adding alfalfa cubes that I will soak in water before adding as a high nitrogen input to help heat the compost pile up quickly. So in my empty middle bin, I've been collecting some garden cuttings, some cucumbers that have gotten too ripe before being able to pick them, and I'll be able to layer those in with my wood chips as I turn the pile. I've also got my hose on so that I can water the pile as I flip it, and the whole point of flipping the pile is so that it gets more air, because the microorganisms that are doing all the work to break down the wood chips and all the green material into good compost need air to do their job. So the compost pile right now is almost at 120. Take my thermometer out, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to just start flipping this compost pile into this bin so that what is on the top becomes the bottom, what is on the sides will become in the middle, just because I want to give all the material a chance to be in the inside where things are heating up. So let's get started. This is an awesome arm workout, by the way. Now, I have my compost piles mostly in the shade, and that is not by design. I wanted my compost piles to be close to my garden, and this was really the only location. Some people like having their compost piles in the sun. It helps things heat up, but I actually think I like mine in the shade because when they're in the sun, they can dry out very quickly. And then also they can get, when they're not covered by tree canopy, they can get too wet when it rains. So here I feel like I've got the best of both worlds. It gets some rain, but not too much, and it doesn't dry out. Once I've gotten a layer of the top of this current compost pile moved over, I'm going to start adding some water and some greens. So greens are my nitrogen ingredients. My browns are the wood chips. So I'm going to add these greens from the garden, and they're just some spent onions, overripe cucumbers, some old kale stalks, some hydrangea blooms, and then get off. I will keep adding my current pile if I don't fall over first. I like to turn my piles once every 1 to 2 weeks. If you're using a thermometer to monitor them, once they start cooling back down is a good time to turn them. Let me grab my hose so we can add some water. Okay, I don't have any kitchen scraps to add today, and that's about it for my garden cuttings. So to add some nitrogen, I'm going to take these alfalfa cubes. It was $20 for a giant bag of them at the feed store. I'm going to pour some in my bucket and add water. I'm going to give it a stir, and I'll let these kind of break down a little bit out of their cube form, make it easier to add to the pile. While that mixes for a minute, go ahead and shovel some more. this pile is nice and hot at 120. As I'm turning it, I'm not seeing any of my kitchen scraps that I've been adding, except maybe some eggshells because they're breaking down very quickly. Let's spread this out a little bit. All right, how's this looking? Right on top. Spread it around a little bit. And another layer. You may notice on my pitchfork, I've got some plastic pieces. These are supposed to be compostable because they came with a fertilizer I've been using. It's what the fertilizer came in. And so I'm attempting to compost them, and they are not breaking down very quickly. So they may technically be compostable, but I don't know how feasible it actually is for a home composter to do. Take out this big chunk. Okay, we're probably ready for some more water. I'd say I've got a little over half the pile turned. The reason I'm adding water is the microorganisms also need water to break down the pile. Some things I never put in my compost are meat, bones, dairy, or cooked food. However, I have heard from some people that now people are saying you can put cooked food in the compost and it'll actually get it heating up quicker. So I may try that once I've got two piles going again. Right now I just have the one pile, and then I've got the third bin full of compost that's gonna cure before I use it in the fall. Give this another stir. Oh, it smells so good. It smells like a horse stable minus the poop smell. So I'm gonna go ahead and get some more cubes dissolving while I'm shoveling. Sometimes the compost, when I'm turning it, gets caught in between the sides of the pallets. I just kind of like to get it out. It keeps the pallets from rotting quicker. Okay. Ugh. Hey, that's my stirring stick. Ranger, it's Mama's. Bring it back. Try this for a stir stick. Try and mix it in a little bit. Okay. I'm getting down to the bottom. Not too much left, which is good because I'm starting to get pretty sweaty. Talk about a labor of love for your garden. Another thing I like to use for a high nitrogen input are used coffee grounds, but those can be hard to come by. Some Starbucks have a program called Grounds for Your Garden or Grounds for the Ground, and they actually package up used coffee grounds and set them out for customers to take. But that's maybe 2 of the 10 Starbucks I've ever seen have had those here in Charlotte. So sometimes when I go in, I will just say, hey, do you have a trash bag of coffee grounds that are headed out to the dumpster? And they usually do, right on the ground by the espresso machine, and they'll just hand me the trash bag and I'll take the whole trash bag out to my car. I did not see a lot of worms in this pile, and that's actually good because I want the temperature hot enough to break down the pile, hot enough that the worms don't want to be there. The worms will start coming once the pile cools down. So I would hope to see a lot of worms in my bin that's curing right now, because that is not a hot temperature pile. All right, I think I've just about gotten all of it out of here. I'm gonna replace my little gate. There we go. We're gonna give it some more water. I'm gonna grab these alfalfa cubes that have dropped down. Just add them to the top. Here's a coffee filter from one of the trash bags from Starbucks that they've given me. It had coffee filters in it too. All right, a nice good water. Then I'll create a chimney so that there'll be an air route that goes from the bottom, and what will happen is the pile will pull air in from the sides, which is why having the open pallet system is nice. Air can come in from the sides. The pile will pull air in from the sides and let it come out the chimney. You can just use the end of your pitchfork, or I actually have like an old, I don't know what this was, painting stick handle, broom handle. I'm just gonna, right in the middle, push it all the way down. Just kind of move it back and forth and in a circle to get the sides to stay open. There we go. Another nice feature of the pallet compost bin system is this is where I keep all my pitchforks and tools, in these slats, which is really nice. All right, let's grab the thermometer. Now, I don't expect this pile to get back up to 120 or even warmer for, I don't know, probably 2 days, maybe, but we will see. What's the temperature outside right now? It's 82 in Charlotte today. I had this sitting in the sun, so it was very warm. I'm trying to get it to cool back down to the air temperature before I put it in. I don't know about you, but I'm kind of obsessed with taking my pile's temperature. Every morning I come out and check it. I put it in different spots just to see if it's hotter in any other areas. Okay, the thermometer is below 90 now, so I'm gonna pop it in. Now, your pile is gonna be hotter towards the top middle. I thought it would be hotter at the bottom, but it never is. It's hotter towards the top middle. All right. Because I also added a bunch of cold water, it's not going to be very warm right now. Okay, we'll see what it looks like in a couple days.